Welcome, everybody. We are finally back on a friggin' Saturday night for, according to my little stream live calendar, first time in 3 weeks. My bad. There's been stuff. Well, first there was Valentine's Day. You know, I love y'all, but nowhere near as much as I love my wife. And last week, my computer was an ass wipe. So you know what? Shit happens. I'm sorry, but we are back. And we got a lot to discuss. Well, maybe a lot is overstating it, but we have things of significance to discuss. That's probably a better way to put it. So, hope you guys are ready for a damn good stream here on this fine Saturday evening, unless you live in the northern Midwest, in which case you're getting dumped on again. But since I don't think that's any of us, and I'm sorry if it is, but regardless, storm, no storm, we're here in the basement on Saturday. So fill your cup and light your smoke, because it's time to get nerdy. What's up? What the fuck happened to my camera? Oh, there we go. Maybe it wasn't the camera. It was me. What? Hi, everybody. Hi, how are y'all doing? We doing good? Why is this so weird? Why is this? Why is it weird? Why? What's up? What's up? How's everyone doing? Welcome to Saturday night. Up in here or down in here in the basement, depending on, however you want to look at it. Spicy Dan, Brooke, what's up, boys? Replay people, how you doing? I don't forget about you much. I'm sorry. Like, seriously, what the fuck is happening with this thing now? Ah, there we go. My jowl. I'm getting old. I want my tight skin back. Look at that. Womp. Womp. Oh well, it is what it is. Well, how's your guys' weekend up? You have a good back half to your week? What's been happening with y'all? Anything fun? Anything cool? Hopefully nothing crappy. Hopefully nothing crappy. Why is that? Oh, okay, I got fucked with my camera. Give me a second. That's better. Yeah, there we go. Gonna see Scream 7 tomorrow? Nice. Nice. La 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 la. La 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 la. All right. Sorry, I had confused myself on some stuff. Either. I bookmark so much stuff, and then I go back through it, and then it's like, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. We really only have a couple, three things to talk about, honestly, chat. We're going to talk some business because we got to. Because it affects an IP that we all very much fucking care about. And that would be DC. And it's not just DC movies, DC Comics. Like all of DC is going to be potentially affected by recent developments. So we're going to talk about that. Charles Murphy, longtime insider and scooper, although he is like 99.7% out of the scooping game these days for the most part. He dropped a whole big ass thread about Doomsday, revealed some stuff, clarified some stuff, was vague about some other stuff because these motherfuckers like to do that shit instead of just saying it's this. So we got that, and then of course we got confirmation of something we basically thought we knew already, but I mean, as confirmed as it can get outside of the trades saying so. I'll put it that way. That is Sadie Sink is Jean Grey. And then now that it's basically official, we can talk further about what that might mean going forward. Not just for the brand new Day movie, but for the MCU as a whole. And what we could see in Doomsday and or Secret Wars coming up. So, that's what's on the table, my friends. That is what is on the table for us to feast upon in all its nerdy goodness. Bum, bum, bum. So, not a lot going on, chat. That's okay. Doesn't have to be a lot going on. I need a. La 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 la. All right, chat. Well, instead of me just sitting here fucking looking around at my screen deciding what order I want to try and do this shit in is, well, let's begin with the business shit and get it the fuck out of the way, shall we? Let's do that. do that. So, a few days ago, Warner Brothers board voted to give Paramount one more bite at the apple. And then they gave Netflix 4 days to respond once Paramount's offer was tendered. So Paramount said, all right, fine. Boom, here's an offer. And of course, most of us expected Netflix to whip out their checkbook and go, big bank tank, little bank, and slap their big old dick shaped like a big red N on the table and been like, boom, we said Warner Brothers was ours and we fucking meant it. The exact opposite happened though. Like literally hours later, Fitzrandos is like, nah, we good. They can have it. And the internet fucking exploded. Fucking exploded. Excuse me one moment, please. There were cat noises. I want to make sure it wasn't one of mine being an asshole. And it's not. Miraculously. Anyway, so that was pretty shocking. And a lot of people are pretty down on this happening. I'm one of them for a wide variety of reasons. Some of which have to do with how I feel things are probably going to go with DC going forward, and some of which have to do with shit that I'm not going to talk about on this channel. The other aspects of this deal that have me significantly worried are not nerdy. And I'm not going to go into them. You could probably guess if you really wanted to. Like, let's be real, you could guess, but I'm not talking about that shit. I'm just going to talk about why this is probably bad for DC. Why is this bad for DC? Why would Netflix have been a better parent for Warner Brothers and thusly DC? And why does Paramount not that good for that? Well, first of all, Paramount is in $100 billion in debt. That with a B. With a B. $100 billion in debt. Obviously, there's all kinds of fun accounting ways that, they can deal with that. Amortization, yada, 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 yada. All a bunch of terms that I have no fucking idea what they are, what they mean. Because I did poorly in econ and accounting. Just wasn't my kind of math, man. So, yeah, first of all, they're in debt. Now, David Ellison has repeatedly said if they get Warner Brothers, they're going to put out 30 movies a year. Really? Is that so, David Ellison? I have... Not there. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So they're like, we're going to put out 30 movies a year between these two studios. Is that so, David? Well, here's what Warner Brothers here's what all the studios did last year. This is 2025 theatrical output by studio. Universal put out 20 fucking movies last year, guys. 20. Disney put out 16. Sony put out 13. And remember, Ellison's promising 30, so that's 15 a studio. 15 Warner Brothers, 15 Paramount. Warner Brothers and its subsidiaries, Paramount and its subsidiaries. Sony's at 13. We haven't gotten to either studio. You want to know how many movies Warner Brothers put out last year? 11. That's not 15. Want to know how many Paramount put out last year? They didn't even hit double digits. They only put out 9. An executive of a rival studio can't even remember the last time Paramount put out 15 movies in a calendar year. But yet, being $100 billion in debt, taking on a second company, when you claiming you're going to put out 30 movies a year when your company on its own couldn't even put out fucking 10, and the company you're buying only put out 11. Like, seriously, bro? So he's claiming to, like, being able to increase output like half again and change as much as he put out in his own studio last year by itself. And then Warner Brothers didn't even put out 15. So how the hell is he going to pull that off while also simultaneously, like, making them movies worth fucking watching? Yeah, you can churn out a bunch of shit, but that's what it'll be. It'll be a bunch of shit. The slapdash fucking goobly glob slob. Like, you know how if he's trying to take a studio that put out 9 movies last year and another one that put out 11 movies last year and then somehow get them each to put out 15 movies a piece going forward, you think maybe doing way too much will affect quality? Have we seen that somewhere before, chat, in recent history? With a studio or studios or a company churning out way too much shit? One of the largest effects of said overproduction being a massive dip in quality of way below what we were used to previous to said churn. Exactly, Brooke. Disney. When they started over churning product with Disney Plus, the quality took a nosedive. And yet somehow massively increasing the output for the studio you're going to buy along with your own well beyond what you were able to do last year is somehow going to lead to good things for your audience. Like, do you really expect to churn out 30 fucking movies a year and have even a decent amount of them be good enough to, like, entice people to the theater? Like, are you for reals with me right now? There's like, and if you're spending all this money churning out all this shit, and trust me, don't forget, you know how a lot of people are griping about AI slop these days? Let us not forget, the owner of Paramount, and depending on how regulatory things go, and we'll get to that. Right now we're speaking of as if things are a fait accompli, which they are definitely not at this point. And we'll get into why. But a lot of people are complaining about AI slop. C-Dance is freaking people the fuck out. And yeah, there's AI projects are only going to be as good as the creative mind that goes into them. What up, Delta Dan? Right? So Is there now a lot of AI slop? Fuck yeah. Is there going to be a lot of AI slop for quite some time? Fuck yeah. Again, not creative people playing with AI. Their shit is going to be slop compared to actual creative people using AI. That'll be good AI shit, not AI slop. And the reason I bring up AI slop is because for Ellison to actually fulfill his promise of putting out 30 movies a year, there's only one way he's going to be able to do, well, number one, do that quick enough, and number two, do it affordably enough. There's one way, and you know what way that is, chat? Don't forget who David Ellison's daddy is. David Ellison's daddy is one Larry Ellison. What does Larry Ellison own? Oracle AI. Or Oracle, a division of which is a big part of which is now AI. So do you think maybe there's going to be a lot of movies coming from Paramount, Warner Brothers, and their subsidiaries like Skydance and whatever smaller specialty production studios these companies own? You think maybe that Daddy's company is going to come into play? Maybe a little to help with costs and speed of production? You think maybe there's a chance that that's how they plan on pumping out 30 movies a year? By literally throwing AI slop at us in order to meet those numbers? I don't know, chat. Seems pretty fucking likely to me. And the ironic thing is, we've talked about this, the theater owners and their group or whatever, we talked about how much they fucking hated the Netflix deal, and they're like, Netflix is gonna kill theatrical. You know what? You know what'll kill theatrical? Their theater owners. A major studio pumping out 30 movies a year that are like almost all crap. You think people are gonna want to come to your theaters and pay tickets and pay for snacks and concessions and whatnot to come see whatever the latest bullshit, slop, garbage, trash ass movie is from Paramount/Warner Brothers? You think that's how that shit's going to work there, theater owners? This is literally worse for you guys than it would be if Netflix had done this. But you guys had your heads stuck so far up your own asses about Netflix bad. Netflix hate theaters. Well, yes, it is true. Netflix's business model is built around streaming. Yes, Netflix doesn't like to put their own movies in theaters for very long because their business model is built around streaming. But if they had purchased WB, they would have had a whole company that's completely pre-set up to give them everything they needed for theatrical that they currently don't have and now still won't have. But they would have had everything they needed. Already all there. Studio, distribution system, executives. Just all they literally had to do is change the signage and just go, hey, you guys just keep doing what you were doing. And then watch the money roll in from the theaters, box office. That's literally all Netflix had to do. And that's all they were really going to do. If they've been able to buy Warner Brothers, all they were going to do is go, hey, you guys know this theater shit. Go do a good job and make us money. And then Ted would turn around and gone back to running his streaming business. That's exactly how it would have gone. You know how it's going to go now? Now, either Ellison is going to fail in his promise to put out 30 movies a year, or we're going to get a bunch of cheap, super rushed, Oracle, OpenAI generated bullshit that no one's going to want to go to the theater to watch, and theater owners are going to be like, oh my God, we were wrong. This is horrible. No one's coming to the theater because to see this bullshit. These other studios aren't making enough good stuff to make up for it. We're fucked. Yeah, motherfucker. Yar. And how well do we think DC is going to fare as part of a system like that? Chat. In that pile of bullshit, how do we think DC is going to fare? Now, the Ellisons did say they plan to keep Warner Brother Discovery's creative teams as they are following its acquisition. And obviously, this wasn't good. Would include Gunn and Safran hanging around. Cool. That's good. But what are they going to be allowed to do? Like, are they going to be allowed to do their thing? Because, Gunn's vow, and he's held to this somewhat to his own detriment and the detriment of DC Studios. That motherfucker will not make a movie until he's happy with the script. Will he be allowed to maintain that mentality now that he's going to be probably working for a company that wants to churn out 30 movies a year? 15 from the studio that's, the umbrella under which he falls. You think he's going to be given leisure to just diddle around and wait for the perfect script before making a movie? You think he will have that freedom? You think he'll have the freedom to be as goofy, do what he wants, when he wants, how he wants at Paramount? Who's $100 billion in debt, broke as motherfucking fuck? Do we think the quality of DC is going to improve under these conditions? I don't. I think the opposite is, in fact, going to be the case. I think we're going to get, I don't know, shit on the level of, say, The Flash. The DC equivalent of Morbius or Madam Web, quality-wise. Because I will give this to James Gunn. He's a goofy motherfucker. And the way he does goofy grates on my nerves more often than not. But he is a talented filmmaker. And if he doesn't go completely off the fucking rails, he makes really good movies. Like, I like all the Guardians movies. Those are all Gunn movies. But I like them all. I despise the Suicide Squad. That's Gunn going full Gunn. I never wanted to watch the Peacemaker show because I couldn't stand the character in that fucking movie. You like a lot of Paramount Plus shows more than Netflix originals? Yeah, they do all right on the TV side. Right now, I'm worried more about theatrical. Because let's face it, right now the comic book genre, while there is a bunch of shit on streaming, it's mostly known for its theatrical shit. You have a bunch of Star Trek on Paramount Plus? Yes, they do. Yeah, where is that list of... Oh, I didn't unbookmark that list. But I had a whole... Here it is. Okay. All right, check this shit out. Assuming everything goes as is, This is what Paramount is going to own, assuming this sale does go through. Its assets will include TNT, CBS, CNN, MTV, TCM, Showtime, Adult Swim, DC Studios, Paramount Plus, Nickelodeon, HBO Max, Comedy Central, and the Cartoon Network. Its IP, what it owns film rights to and stuff. Star Trek, Gremlins, Beetlejuice, DC Comics, Tom and Jerry, Harry Potter, Citizen Kane, Transformers, A Quiet Place, Looney Tunes, The Conjuring, Mortal Kombat, Game of Thrones, Dora the Explorer. Oops. Interesting. Don't know how I did that. Mission Impossible, Lord of the Rings, SpongeBob, Avatar, The Last Airbender, Ninja Turtles, and the distribution rights for Doom 3, Minecraft, and the Monsterverse. Nerdy. I would call Gremlins nerdy. Beetlejuice, pseudo-nerdy. DC Comics, obviously. Harry Potter, nerdy. Transformers, nerdy. Or Mortal Kombat, nerdy. Game of Thrones, high fantasy, nerdy. Lord of the Rings, nerdy. Avatar: The Last Airbender, nerdy. Ninja Turtle, nerdy. Doom 3, distribution rights, nerdy. Like, this company is going to be over a lot of IP that are precious to nerds. Various divisions of nerddom or genres of nerddom or however you want to fucking put it. Because, there's comic book shit in there, high fantasy shit in there. You heard Paramount is doing bad with Star Trek? You are 100% correct. They are doing horrifically with Star Trek. And what's hilarious, given who owns them, is that a lot of people hate Star Trek because it's too woke. Which is hilarious considering the owner of Paramount is a massive Trump cuck. But, Of course, I'm also 98, 99% sure that they had a contractual obligation to fill when Skydance bought Paramount with the people that are currently running Trek. There you go. Gamble, motherfuckers. Hell, I forgot. I can't even yell. But there's I'm also, like I said, I'm also pretty sure that was kind of like what they call the medical business a pre-existing condition. And who knows how long it'll last. Although, you rolled 100, you motherfucker. Tina, what's up? How you doing? Welcome in. Thanks for popping by. It's good to see you. By the way, have you subbed? I just want to know. Did everyone hit the like, by the way? Have we hit the buttons, motherfuckers? 49. God damn it. Y'all hit the buttons? You didn't know we could gamble now? I thought I have you hooked up. Hold on a second. Let me make sure. Open my CloudBot window. Oh, and I need to give Tina some points, too. Now I gotta remember how to do it. Yeah, Delta Dan, you're hooked up. You're subscribed. Thank you. Like, were you already, or when I go check my count, will there be one more? Why aren't you in there? Oh, probably because you need to chat more. I'll give it a minute. I'll come back to it. Don't let me forget to hook you up with some points so you can gamble too, Tina. But you need to chat a few times before Streamlabs will acknowledge your existence. Fucking stupid as shit, but it's the way it is. By the way, if you don't find this freezing, when we getting our Ebony and Ivory on stream, girl? You brought it up before. I just want to know. You been? Damn. Could always hook you up twice. You'd have to come in under another different nomenclature there, sir. Different account. it's going to recognize Tina yet. Come on, motherfucker. Do it. No. God damn it. What is wrong with this fucking thing? Chat some more, Tina. Force Streamlabs to recognize you. Get in his face. Yeah, your place or mine. I don't care. Sorry, I need to stretch. Yeah. So yeah, all that is going to be under the Ellison's umbrella. And if you think you deleted Delta Ban after you got unbanned? OG Bloodline, what's up? How you doing? Thanks for coming by. And people that are on the replay, thank you for still being here. If you clicked at the very, well, I'm assuming you had to click at the very beginning. So yeah, thank you if you're still here. Appreciate you. Hit the like. Leave comments based on what you think about what I be saying. All that good stuff. You want to hear something else that's funny, though? Zaslav himself had a call watching your WWE Fight Night on Saturday. Isn't it Elimination Chamber tonight? Like, I don't watch the wrestling, but I follow people on the TwitX who do. And I'm pretty sure I saw Elimination Chambers tonight. Yeah, check out what Daddy Zaz himself said, which is I find kind of interesting. This is leaked audio from company-wide meeting has revealed that David Zaslav thinks it will take at least 6 to 12 months for the Warner Brothers Paramount deal to close. I think it could be longer, and we'll go into why. The deal may not close. If it doesn't close, we get $7 billion and we get back to work. That's interesting because he doesn't seem too concerned one way or the other. And the reason I think that's interesting is because this motherfucker stands to get like $500 million once the sale goes through. Like just, oh hey, good job on getting this motherfucker sold. Here's $500 million. Enjoy. So his laissez-faire attitude about this whole thing is kind of weird to me. Like super weird to me. Especially since he stands to gain so much fucking money out of this. Going through? Be crazy. They made wrenches into shields now? Yeah, that happened like a while ago. And I don't like it. I want the wrenches back. Fucking YouTube. No one asked you guys to fuck with this. YouTube. Team YouTube. No one asked you to do this shit. We liked the wrenches. Give us our wrenches back. Motherfuckers. Anywho. So this is a quote. This is a quote from a Deadline? Yeah, this is a quote from a Deadline article from an unnamed regional studio head who's been in the game for a hot minute. They just call it veteran, but that's what that means. Think OG, right? This is an observation coming from someone who's been doing this, as it were. A veteran regional studio head told us being Deadline, just the debt repayment schedule alone doesn't bear thinking about. If Netflix don't think it makes sense at that price, then what genius at Paramount thinks they can make it work? It's very easy to make savings by cutting budgets and people, and oh my God, we haven't even talked about what's going to happen to the fucking employees at these companies. It's much harder to organically and systematically grow a business. Paramount's modus operandi has been the former for years under Viacom, cutting budgets to people. Netflix, on the other hand, have shown there is another and better way. There will be more blood than an iron lung and more BS from exhibition talking of their great friends and colleagues on the studio side whilst not only stabbing Warner employees in the back, but pushing them down the stairs at the same time. They continue. Get ready for 3 rehashed franchise movies a year generated by Oracle AI with no one left to market them. But don't fear. Theatrical will keep their precious windows to showcase Transformers vs. Superman 8. First of all, exactly, Delta Dan. First of all, the level of snark in that quote, I fucking admire so much. As someone who feels like they're reasonably decent at snark themselves, especially when I get in a flow state with it, that's some fucking all-time snark right there, bro. That was fucking amazing. Get ready for 30 rehashed franchise movies a year generated by Oracle AI with no one left to market them because they fired them all. But don't fear, Theatrical will keep their precious windows to showcase Transformers vs. Superman 8. Oh my God. And that's pretty much what it boils down to. To keep, there's no, well, number one, I don't see them being able to keep that 30 movie a year promise, which is not a bad thing. They shouldn't even try. Because again, last year Warner Brothers put out 11 movies and Paramount put out 9. That's a total of 20. This motherfucker's talking about putting out 30 a year. Please don't try. Because the only way they're going to do it is exactly how this motherfucker said and what I mentioned earlier. It's going to be a bunch of low-budget Oracle AI bullshit that no one's going to want to fucking spend their hard-earned money to watch at a theater. But the theaters will have their windows. Like DC's quality, and we may bitch, some of us, I should say, may bitch about James Gunn and his sensibilities and whatever, but the man actually does care about quality. Like he does have his standards. Again, he won't make a movie until he thinks the script is like ready. He doesn't Marvel it like that. You know, he's not a on the fly kind of movie maker. He wants all his little duckies in a row before he starts shooting. And if the Ellisons are really going to try and churn out 30 movies a year, he's not going to have that time. He's not going to have that leeway. He's basically going to be in the same position that Kevin Feige and Kathleen Kennedy were in 2019 when Iger said, go forth and make Disney Plus shit. And make a lot of it. And make it fast. Literally the same thing. Just mostly in the theater. But yeah, but in the theater. And it's not just, DC shit that's going to take a hit in quality. Everything that studios, whatever, however you want to look at it, put out is going to be rushed garbage. Like, I don't see any other way it could be, unless they just forget their 30 movie goal and never bring it up again and just put movies out and completely deflect any question about what happened to 30 movies a year. Or just, give the usual expected corporate bullshit answer, after reevaluation and calculation and observation and assessment, we've decided that that's an unrealistic goal and we're no longer going to pursue that. That would be, the wise choice would be to come out with that like literally on Monday. Like they should literally come out with that statement on Monday. Because otherwise everything they put out is going to be garbage. Doesn't matter what the IP is, it's going to be crap. And that sucks. That sucks for everybody who wants to enjoy a movie. from one of those studios. It's going to be difficult to enjoy a rushed out, overly AI'd piece of shit. Now, if there is any hope for this deal to not go through, that will come with the regulatory process. Now, I am going ask Chat Jippet. All right, Chat Jippet is going to town. Let's check it out. All right, the proposed merger. Oh yeah, by the way, the final price tag was $31 a share plus some other little math things thrown in there. So basically, $110 billion is the purchase price for Warner Brothers by Paramount. Long, complicated, yada, yada, yada. Likely involve multiple U.S. and international regulators, antitrust investigations, possible legal challenges. Yeah, there's going to be legal challenges. Okay, so the U.S. Antitrust Review, DOJ, and Federal Trade Commission. So the DOJ will, and the FTC will assess how it will impact streaming competition, film studio market share, TV network ownership, in other words, percentage of networks and shit, licensing and distribution power, and advertising markets. Those are the biggest ones. Now, streaming competition, well, they've already said that they're going to eliminate HBO Max, and it's all just going to be on Paramount Plus now, so that'll be one less label out there. Film studio market share, again, they're kind of doubling up on studios. TV network ownership, well, we went over that fucking other list on. They're going to have CBS, CNN, and all that other shitola. Licensing and distribution power, and advertising markets. Like, it's all. And this is just the federal. Now, under the state, state attorneys general can independently investigate or challenge the merger. California has already announced a vigorous review focusing on economic and job impacts. States can sue even if federal regulators approve the deal. Now, when California is announcing a vigorous review on focusing on economic and job impacts, it's this job impacts is really the key. Because, again, if Netflix had managed to buy Warner Brothers, there's like almost no redundancy or crossover because Netflix is not in the theatrical business. Like, they don't have a distribution arm that's all of a sudden going to have double the employees. Or, basically anything Warner Brothers does that Netflix doesn't, which is like 98% of what they do, Netflix does not. Yeah, not a lot of layoffs and shit. But now we're talking one studio purchasing that does, what studios do, purchasing another studio that already does exactly what that studio does. So there's going to be a shit ton of job loss. Like, huge numbers of layoffs, massive numbers of layoffs, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of layoffs. So that's your job impacts. And the economic impact, of course, will be like all the shit they shutter and close, all the suddenly unemployed people who have no money to spend, and, and so on and so on. So, as Chat Jippet has mentioned, California is already going to do it. There's also other other states' attorneys general, and yes, they are all blue state, have already said that they are going to be suing to block this deal. So Paramount has to get past the federal part. That'll be the easy part for hashtag reasons. It's the state. Their states are going to be a big, massive pain in the ass for this deal. Like I don't know how they think that I don't know how Daddy's ass thinks this is going to close in 6 to 12 months. If it was just federal, if that's all they had to worry about was federal regulation, then yeah, it probably would be done in 6 to 12 months. But again, the federal's the easy part. They got to get past the states, and then there has to be international antitrust approval. Why? What do foreign countries have to do with two American companies buying each other? Well, it's because they operate globally. They don't just put movies out in the U.S. There's a reason we have domestic and international box office designations. So if these companies want to be able to continue to distribute their films internationally, they have to make all these people happy as well. The European Commission, UK Competition and Markets Authority, Canada Competition Bureau, Japan Fair Trade Commission, Korea Fair Trade Commission, Australia, whatever their acronym blah 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 commission is, China, India, and Brazil. So if they want to be able to distribute their shit in these markets, these bodies, these commissions, these whatever authorities in this case, these all have to approve the deal or they will not get distribution rights in these markets. So the deal could end up approved in the States, but if Europe doesn't like it, ain't no Paramount movies going to be shown in Europe. UK has its own, Canada has its own, but you get the idea. Any one of these decide that's some bullshit, Paramount will never be able to distribute to those markets. Distribute. And that'll cause some financial difficulties. There's blue states governments focus on something besides this. I mean, there definitely are other larger fish to fry. That is true. I think Final Destination is universal, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, so again, group one, probably not going to be a problem. Groups 2 and 3, they can cause some fucking issues, should they so choose to. So I'm saying I've dropped 80 tons of doom and gloom upon you, only so you realize that if this gets past all 3 groups, that's probably what we're fucking looking at. But the hope is, at least my hope is, groups 2 and or 3 tank this motherfucking deal. That's my hope. Now, as for the reason Netflix walked away, well, number one, what this regional studio had mentioned about Netflix didn't think it made sense at that price, and maybe it didn't. I mean, it's not like they need it's It's not like they need a fully functional Hollywood studio with a built-in pipeline to theatrical to survive, do they? No, they do not. Netflix is doing just fine, right? Netflix is doing hunky dory. They don't need Warner Brothers. They would have thought it quite nice to own Warner Brothers and have that pre-built in to the theatrical business, but they don't fucking need it. Not by any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, did it make basic good business sense for them to be like, fuck it, Paramount can have it? Yeah, probably. But here's the question though, if you want to get a little conspiratorial about this shit. If they were always in the mode of we don't really need this, but it'd be kind of nice. Why did they even really do it in the first place? Like if they weren't like, needing it or like really, 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 really wanting it, like badly, Were they playing a little 4D chess? Was Sarandos fucking with the Ellisons? Did Netflix get in there just to drive the price up and put Paramount over a ginormous financial barrel? Are they playing the long game? Forcing Paramount to over leverage themselves to get this studio? Are they betting on their downfall and for they can just swoop in and grab up what they wanted originally on the cheap and maybe even more on the cheap? Is Sarandos playing that long of a game? Maybe. Maybe Sarandos is playing that long game. Maybe he is playing 5 or 6D chess going, sitting in his fucking office there at Netflix like Palpatine, like, we will drive the price up. Then we will let them have it. And then, when they ultimately fail, and they are forced into desperate measures, then we will come back. And we will have what we wanted for much less. And we'll possibly get more than we even originally thought. I can totally see that shit. I can see Ted and the Netflix board just fucking toasting each other going, we fuck these motherfuckers good. See y'all bitches in about 5 years. I wouldn't be surprised if that was actually the case. And I would also think it fucking funny if that was the case. Well, let me know. What do you guys think, man? I think I'm getting to the point where I'm going to start really repeating myself too goddamn much. So, what do you guys think, chat? What do you guys think, replayers? Comments. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Type words, push buttons, do all the things. Please and thank you. Goddamn cats. Hair everywhere. Watching Goosebumps? That's fun. Any further thoughts on that, chat? God damn, we spent longer on that than I thought we were going to. I ain't mad about it, though. Oh, I know. I know it's a show. I know it's a show. Sorry, I'm looking at Charlie Murphy's shit. Charlie Murphy! Damn, he's got like more threads than I realized about this Doomsday shit. He's got thread shit from 2 days ago, shit from yesterday. Okay. All right. Okay, chat. Let's talk Sadie Sink. Let us talk the history of Sadie Sink rumors. Well, first of all, we've had it as confirmed as it can be. Excuse me. Without hearing it from the studio or the trades. That despite the months and months of rumors and distractions and all the shit that we've put up with and tried to speculate through and theorize with, Sadie Sink is indeed Jean Grey in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Give me just 1 second, chat. Delta Dan, check your Discord DMs. Yeah. So yeah, it has finally been confirmed. After last December, Jeff Snyder said he heard a rumor that she was being considered for the role of Jean Grey. And then he didn't get confirmation, so he kind of walked it back. And then other names started popping up, as you'll recall. Because, of course, most people, when we first heard she was cast, redhead, she's MJ. So we thought she was MJ. Then the Jean Grey rumors started. Or actually, the Jean Grey rumors, and then check my pants. Oh, they're my Batman pants. What'd you see? So, yep. Then it's like, okay, so maybe she's MJ. Okay, maybe she's Mayday Parker. Really? Mayday Parker? Maybe she's Firestar. Maybe she's Rachel Summers. Like, maybe she's Shathra. Shit started getting outlandish, chat. That Shathra thing actually caught some fucking steam, too. That Shathra, I'm surprised. They almost had me with that shit. Like, I was trying to find ways to justify that being the case. I'll put it that way. But yeah, after months upon months, over a year, the Scoopers, even though they've probably known for like the whole time because they're ass wipes like that. I don't know what finally made them decide to come out basically as for the cabal to come out and confirm it, but they did. They finally did. Yeah, no problem. No problem at all. Just, if it suddenly gets poofed, either like I had had an extra bill come up or they figured it out, one of the two. So, yeah. Sadie Sink is Sadie MCU too? Yes. Yeah, no, she's MCU. She's not Sony. Jean Grey is X-Men. X-Men are MCU. The only, like, Spidey and his villains are Sony. Jean Grey, MCU. Punisher, MCU. Hulk, MCU. Like, that's actually part of the deal. Like, anytime Kevin the Hat Man Feige wants to use Spider-Man, like, they have to include an MCU hero in the movie as well. Like, Kevin doesn't just get to make a Spider-Man movie and have it just be Spider-Man characters. He has to add MCU folks to the mix. It's required. Yeah, Spidey and his Rogues Gallery, Sony. Anyone else? Marvel Studios. That's how that shit works, man. That's how that shit works. Now, why? Not that I have a problem with it, because in my mind, introducing new characters in top tier characters movies is the way to go. Like, they introduced Hawkeye in Thor. They introduced Black Widow in Iron Man 2. They introduced Black Panther in Civil War. Obviously, Iron Man, Cap, and Thor got their own movie. I mean, the Hulk got his own movie, even though it went from Norton to Ruffalo. But, yeah. Falcon was introduced in Winter Soldier. and Doc Strange got his own movie. Wanda was introduced in Age of Ultron. So was Vision. Yeah. Yeah, you take a character, whether you have big plans for them or not, but you introduce them in an already established character's movie. And you don't get too much more established than Spider-Man. I only say that because he's the most popular superhero on our planet of Earth. Period. So, yeah. Good place to introduce, just in general, to introduce a new character is in a big character's movie. So, yeah. Do I have a problem with them introducing Jean Grey and Spider-Man? Hell no. Like, just on paper in general, no problem with it at all. That's the way you do this shit, at least in my opinion. Now, to make it make sense, that's the thing. Like introducing a cool character in another big character's movie, cool. But it does kind of need to make sense. Like Hawkeye and the Widow already working for S.H.I.E.L.D. in their introductions in Thor and Iron Man 2 respectively, makes sense. Introducing Wakanda in Civil War, makes sense. Introducing Maximoffs in Age of Ultron, makes sense. The way they were done and handled in those movies makes sense. So the question is, how are they going to make sense of Jean Grey being in New York City in a Spider-Man movie? And from the leaked trailers, we're not even sure she realizes exactly who she is because, frankly, she was being very mean in the leaked trailer, and how she was doing it was very un-Jean Grey-like. So, like, questions arise. Okay, cool, she's Jean Grey, but, like, what's going on with her? We know the Department of Damage Control is after her. We know Punisher is going to be interested in protecting her. Or at least we think we know. Those are all rumors. So, like, why would Jean Grey, first of all, telepath, telekinetic Jean Grey, why would she need Punisher's protection? Something's going on with her, obviously. She's not in full, she doesn't know, she might not, like, have full control of her powers. She might, or, well, if not full control, she doesn't fully realize her potential, maybe. Although I'm not 100% sure on that because, again, in that leaked trailer, she seemed pretty damn sure of her ability to fuck with Peter's mind. So she's at least somewhat confident in her abilities and somewhat knowledgeable about her abilities. I mean, the question is like, what the fuck has been happening with her in the 616 Sacred Timeline that has her origin and where she's at that point in her life so different from what we're used to? Like that's the big key. Why is her backstory so different from what we're used to? And are they going to do like weird comic booky shit to change it back to what we're used to by the time the actual X-Men movie comes rolling around after Secret Wars? Like, that's the key. Why are things different? Are they going to bother to bring it around to what we're used to Jean's backstory being? And if they are going to weasel shit around that way, how are they going to do it? These are all questions. These are all good questions. And unfortunately, these are all questions I have zero fucking answers for. Like, just to guess, I mean, obviously, I would say, first of all, there's no Professor X in 616 to go out and find her. That's item number one. There's no Professor X that went out and found her in the 616. And again, all the changes to her current story, as we're going to find out, however much about her story we find out about in Spider-Man. The reason it's going to be all fucked up is because He Who Remains fucked with shit. Like, That's going to be the answer to the first question. Why is this different? He Who Remains. This isn't the way this is supposed to go. Why is this way? He Who Remains. And in isolating the sacred timeline and making all the changes he feels he would need to make to preserve the multiversal war from happening, which would mean making sure certain people that end up being very powerful and very significant don't end up that way. You know, you got to eliminate them or change them in some form or fashion. So, evidently, there's no Professor X in the 616, which is why Jean could randomly end up in New York City instead of upstate Westchester. You know, or if there is a Professor X somewhere, he has no idea of what his real deal is supposed to be. Again, thank you, He Who Remains. So, I'm very, very interested to see how they make it make sense. Because the farthest I can go with it is He Who Remains done fucked around. Changed some shit up, adjusted some things, made life a lot more difficult for certain people. But I imagine if DODC's after I'm wondering, A, how they found out about her. Like, chat, did any of you actually finish Wonder Man? How did they even find out about his ass in the first place? Because, again, I didn't make past second episode because I don't give a fuck what it's like to try and be an actor in Hollywood. At all. I don't care. I don't care about the struggles of an actor. You're going to make a superhero show, make them do superhero shit. Anyway, was it ever explained how they knew about Simon Williams being powerful? Because if they did, I'm wondering if maybe that ties into how they know about Jean. Like, how do they find out these things? But regardless of how they found out about Jean, it's obvious she's on the run and desperate. Which could also play into why she's super aggressive and threatening. You know? Living your life on the run can make you a bit, snarky, I would imagine. You know? So, however they choose to handle it, I just really hope they do a good job. And I will say that having Sadie come in as Jean Grey, I think, is a good way. I think they're doing that to tie Spider-Man to what's going to be happening in Doomsday and eventually Secret Wars. Especially because there's little to no mention of either Sadie Sink's Jean Grey or Tom Holland's Spider-Man being in Doomsday, but they're both supposed to be huge in Secret Wars. So, I'm not saying they don't have work to do, because they do. Like, they need to have done it well. They need to have made it dope. They need to have made it make sense. But I'm definitely here for it. I am ready for, like, genuine-ass mutants. Doing genuine-ass mutant-y stuff. So, I'm glad. One thing that, like, I think the thing I'm actually most glad about with this confirmation is that'll be one less avenue for a bunch of bullshit rumors to come out about. One less item. For a bunch of bullshit rumors to come out about that us being who we are going to fucking slog through. And these these Spider-Man Brand New Day rumors have been a fucking slog. Not just about Sadie Sink and Jean Grey, just the movie in general. It's been a slog. We've gone from completely grounded to super multiversal, something somewhere in between. We were gonna have null, then we're not gonna have null. It you know, symbiote, maybe, yes, no, fucking hulked out symbiotes, gamma infused symbiote. It is fucking ridiculous. The amount of shit that has come out about this movie that we have talked about, most of which has ended up being crap, which is generally the case, because the early rumors are always going to have a much higher percentage of being garbage than the ones that come out much closer to the movie, which only makes sense. But guess what? We're still going to talk about early rumors around here because it's fun. Sometimes, again, it can be a slog. This movie has been a like. There's been times new shit has come out about that movie, and I can't. I'm not even going to bring it up. I can't do it. Can't do it. I mean, think about how long Stranger Things has been out. She actually was legit young in Stranger Things. At least the first couple seasons. And when I was trying to find the picture for the thumbnail, I found some rather grown-up looking ones of her too, and I was like, okay. But she's still barely legal, so it's still a little weird. Yeah. I mean, I am down for it. I'm ready for mutants. I'm ready for core X-Men. And Jean Grey is a core X-Men. Man, person, whatever. She's a core member. And Scott puts his member in her core. And Wolverine wishes he could. What, 9 years from the beginning of Stranger Things to the end? Sounds about right. Sounds about right. So, what do you guys think? Now that it's basically confirmed, basically official, again, trades haven't said it, studio hasn't said it. But when the cabal all agrees, it's basically confirmed. So, what do you guys think? I'm down. I'm here for it. I'm ready. Give me mutants. Give me Jean Grey. How you guys feel about it? Chat! Chat, don't abandon me. Guess I should have made a better thumbnail. That are people. Take 2 Saturdays off. People forget you stream on a Saturday. The fuck is everybody? God damn it. You haven't got on Rivals tonight? You hate that game right now? Wow, what happened? Dare I ask what happened? I'll understand if you don't want to talk about it. I will understand if you do not want to talk about it. You know what's annoying me about games right now? Like, I still have PS4 and I have very old versions of games. Like, I have Madden 18. And I keep trying to update the roster, but it refuses. But the EA server is always fucking down. And then I have a 2K19, I think, golf game. PGA Tour 2K19. And the 2K server's down, so I can't fucking actually play on, like, a tour. I'm a little annoyed about that shit. Especially because the way I got my running game going on my Madden game right now, if I actually had fucking Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield, oh my God. I'd be busting runs left, right, and center, baby. I'm a little annoyed I can't update my roster on football and then I can't fucking play the actual tour itself. I'm like, oh, damn, I'm aggravated about that shit. I'm salty. Just get updated once chilling. Yeah, well, that shit's expensive. Even still for a PS4, which is even bigger bullshit. Like the PlayStation Store had Madden 19 just 1 year newer, and they still wanted $40 for that motherfucker. Are you out of your goddamn mind? A generation back in a 7-year-old game, and you still want $40 for it? Fuck you, bruh. That's goddamn ridiculous. But these days, it still seems better to be a PlayStation owner than an Xbox owner. We talked about that on Wednesday. Pumped for Jean Grey Mutants in general? Yes, me too. I am ready. I am ready for Doomsday and Secret Wars to fucking be amazing and revitalize Marvel. And then I am ready for the Mutant Saga. Holy shit, I'm ready for the Mutant Saga. Yes, I am. I don't think there are a bunch of people playing it right now since the last patch. On comp, no one will tank. Got to gold 1 last night, then lost 8 in a row and dropped down to 2. Damn. No one will tank. Why won't people tank? Why are people being pussies and not playing tank? I mean, I'm one of those pussies. I play DPS, but, like, I know there's plenty of motherfuckers out there that used to love to tank. Why is no one tanking? Did all the tanking characters get nerfed? Did all the tanks get nerfed after the last patch? What the fuck happened? Okay, so that's the order they do that in. So gold 3 is lower than gold 2 is lower than gold 1. Which is lower than silver 3, then 2, then 1, then okay. Or I mean diamond. That's how it goes. Bronze, silver, gold, diamond, plat, grandmaster, some shit like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Ooh. That came out a little more aggressively than I was expecting. I tooted. Crash Teams. Yeah, glad you got your PS5 when you did. 250 to 300? What the fuck? Oh, everyone's playing the new Resident Evil. Okay. Is that getting all the peoples on it on Steam? Oh, okay, cool. All right, chat. Ready to get into all this Doomsday shit Charles Murphy's been posting? Because he posted shit on 2 separate days. Like shit on his own, and then he responded to questions. We got a lot to go through, chat. Are you ready? Ready to go through a bunch of Doomsday stuff? Talk about some Doomsday? Okay, good. Well, ready or not, here we fucking go. Okay, so this is a Doomsday thread that he posted 2 days ago. Mr. Charles Murphy. Says, I cannot verify whether or not the info I have on the film is correct. That's what happens when anonymous sources send stuff. You're 2 points from Plat 3 before those 8 losses. Oh, man. That's some bullshit. However, from talking to others in the community, some of what I was told does seem to line up with what people have heard. Excuse me, and trust. I had to guess, I would say that what was shared with me came from an early version of the script. Okay, that right there is also important. And I'm thinking, and here's why I think that's important. Because you guys know, I know y'all know, because we've talked about it before. Most of us are nerd vendors. Josh has talked about it before. Campia, Mr. John Campia, and his boy Robert Meyer Burnett have been talking for months about how they were able to read the Doomsday script. Now, if they've been talking about it for a couple months, then guess what, folks? That was an early version of the script too, and they were glazing the fuck out of that, which is good, which is very good. But the reason I bring it up is because Charles is flat out saying he thinks it's an early version of the script. There's no way that what Campy and Robert Meyer Burnett read was not an early version of the script. What up, Brennan? So the point I'm trying to slowly get to and probably driving you nuts by not getting to is this. What Charles is about to talk about is what Campy and Robert Meyer Burnett read and were fucking stoked about. Okay? That's why I think this is important. He goes on, I have a ton of questions after reading. To be safe, I will not share any major spoilers for the film just in case they turn out to be legit, but most impressive moment. On paper, nothing like what the Golden Guardian of Good will do in a key scene in the film has ever been done in the MCU. Okay, I'm going to read that again. On paper, nothing like what the Golden Guardian of Good, aka Sentry, will do in a key scene in the film has ever been done in the MCU. So Sentry, we are going to see Sentry do something we have never before seen. Just period. Whatever he's going to do in a key scene, we've never seen it done yet. That's dope. I'll leave it at that, and there is no reason anyone else needs to feel compelled to spoil it outright. Epic. I know some people that are Sentry fans that are probably very happy to have read this. Captain MacGuffin. I love that he calls Steve Rogers Captain MacGuffin. As you can expect, Steve living that life causes problems for the timeline. He, Peggy, and baby James are visited by non-God of Stories Loki prior to the end of Season 2 Loki. Okay, we've heard this already. We've talked about this before. So this is yet more, let's not say confirmation, but we'll say corroboration of shit we've heard from others. And relocated and given the ability to access Loki TVA. Okay, that's new. All we've heard before is that Loki, well, we've heard that Loki visited them and took them to 828, but we've never heard that they have the ability to access Loki in the TVA. Which basically means if they feel like they need to go talk to Loki about something or go to the TVA, they can. And the only way I can think of for them to have that access is they possess a temp pack. What about you guys? That they have to have a temp pad, right? If they have the ability to access Loki in the TVA, they have a temp pad. You roll a high enough number. All you gotta do is just roll a high enough number. I don't think I've won a fucking roll yet. I ain't playing that shit. So, visited, relocated, and given the ability to access. That's new, and that's fucking dope. Okay, so Okay, Hiddleston and Evans were reported to have filmed scenes together at the house, so it does track. Yep, we've talked about that. After a time jump, the relocation begins causing problems as well, starting the new universe toward incursion. That Earth 828. That's all I have to say about that working late. Okay. Now, does he respond to anything? No responses to that. He does. I thought about this for a bit. Is it actually specified that Loki moves them before becoming god of stories? I wonder if it could be a projection of himself he sends while on his throne. This seems odd he would move them for that, though I'm sure the scene would reveal why. None of this is confirmed, but the info I was given is clear that it happens prior to the end of season 2. Okay. Any more with that one? No. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Got that one. That. Okay. All right, so I think that's the end of that thread, but there's more. He responds to questions and shit. I gotta get all the way back out of this one. God damn it. Trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. So that we got one little bit of new. Cap leaves Peggy to fight. I'm moving in with her. I mean, yeah. God damn it! I lost again. Well, good thing it's my casino. Anyway. Okay, so now he goes on to start responding to some questions and shit. You're telling me Scott taking off his visor is the most impressive moment? No, the tweet that is labeled most impressive moment has info on Sentry. Yeah, no shit. That is why RPK said Sentry is one of the MVPs in Doomsday. Share some more, bro. No thanks, bro. With all due respect, is that it? That's like the same information we've gotten from 30 different scoopers. Nothing new you shared. That's actually not true. Based MMA, you fucking idiot. Okay, I don't really keep up with 30 scoopers. By the way, he's going to get super snarky about this shit later, too. I don't know what's out there. I don't even know this is legit. Sorry to meet your criteria. Could also have just moved along. Having shared 1/100th of what was shared with me, I'm already reminded why I haven't done this in years. Talking about this guy, I'm assuming. But damn, 1/100th of what was shared with him. Editorializing. Okay, so this is just him editorializing now. Without getting super spoilers, small details lead me to believe, again, editorializing, that the Russos are going to play on the audience's knowledge of who's behind Dune's mask to lay some rhyming beats out that will make the audience feel a sense of familiarity. Rhyming with Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame will create a sense in the audience that they know what's coming. And I don't mean those of you who follow 30 other scoopers who have already shared all of this. Oh, I love it. This dude's got great snark. Allowing for the Russos to pull the rug hard out from under them. Where it's caused a lot of consternation among fans, from what I'm seeing, Cap v. Doom will be very smartly done. Doom's origins, as in the comics, will be tied to his obsession with fixing a problem, not directly tied to Rogers, a.k.a. Captain MacGuffin. That has 5 flies. Are any of them his? None are his. Okay. Okay. So, without getting super spoilers, let's go back over this. Believe that the Russos are going to play in the audience knowledge of who's behind Dune's mask to lay some rhyming beats out that will make the audience feel a sense of familiarity. Rhyming with Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame will create a sense in the audience that they know what's coming, allowing for the Russos to pull the rug hard out from under them. His origins, as in the comics, will be tied with his obsession with fixing a problem, not directly tied to Rogers, a.k.a. Captain McGovern. Okay. So, tell me if I'm misreading this chat, but it seems that what he's saying, Doom's origins, as in the comics, will be tied to his obsession with fixing a problem, not directly tied to Rogers. So, chat, does that not seem... Bro, you can't be greedy and have dibs on both. Pick one. That's some bullshit, Delta Dan. But does that not seem like the older rumors of, like, Steve clapping them cheeks is the reason why Doom wants to kill him? And, at some point, at least. Now, Steve's going to do some shit that'll probably end up fucking some stuff up. But it won't automatically be Doom going, Doom says Rogers must die. You know? His obsession will be fixing a problem. Problem being the incursions. Not, I must kill Steve Rogers immediately. It's, okay, these incursions are an issue. Now, eventually, he'll probably figure out that Steve caused one. And we've talked about other reports / rumors where Doom's going to have like a whole list. Like, it won't just be Steve. He'll be after everyone that caused an incursion. Right? We've talked about that before. So, yeah. And that's cool, though, because the more clarification we get on the whole Doom's pissed at Steve for clapping them cheeks rumor and making it better and better and better, I am glad to see. Wait. Where'd all this come from? Oh, this is part of a whole new thread. How did I miss the top of that? Oh, because I didn't go to the top. I just clicked on that one. Okay, so we need to start with this. Oops. I just pulled the fucking... I just pulled the fucking George Lucas. I started in the middle. Now I'm going back to the beginning. Okay, so this is the top of the thread that was... This is the beginning of the thread that I just jumped in the middle of like an ass wipe. Sorry about that, chat. So, this thread he put out the next day. Another Doomsday thread. Dramatic irony. And here's where he gets right into the start. I love this. As has been shared by 30 scoopers already, none of the 616 heroes will see Doom's face, though the audience will, allowing them to have some critical information that should create some suspense, and sounds like the Russos have used it cleverly. That's cool. Although I'm still not thrilled about none of the characters seeing his face, because that's a shit ton of fucking emotional tension and crap that you're like totally throwing to the wayside. But we'll see. Again, he said it sounds like the Russos have used it cleverly, so, you know, maybe my concerns are completely unfounded. Civil War 2. I'll editorialize a bit here, but will be clear about what was shared and how I'm interpreting it. In Civil War, the death of Howard and Maria at the hands of Bucky are shown to set Tony on the road to becoming Iron Man. It It's why he ultimately ends up in the suit. It's true. He goes on. Though Winter Soldier was to blame, Steve also became the focus of Tony's ire. True. In Doomsday, though it sounds as though Loki is at fault for the relocation, Captain MacGuffin will be Doom's target, as 30 scoopers have already shared. Okay, maybe I was wrong. However, okay, and then we get to what I read. Editorializing about the super spoilers. Again, talking about the rhyming, creating the sense of familiarity. And then rug being yanked. So basically, he's saying the war death of Howard Maria with the hands of Bucky are shown. Okay, so yeah. So he's saying if we stick with the rhyming thing, a big loss in Doom's life is going to ultimately be why he ends up in his armor. And we've heard plenty of reports about that. Something's going to happen that's going to kill Mrs. Doom and Baby Doom. That will also fuck him up and put him busted up in his suit Vader style. We've heard that from three different people at this point. So this is kind of basically what this part's telling me as well. Kind of more corroboration, not confirmation, but corroboration of that. Not being specifically saying that, but the death of family being why he ultimately ends up in the suit. That follows along with shit we've already talked about. And yes, that'll feel familiar to people. Okay, so that's cool. And I think he answers more questions after this thread too. Let's see what he has to say about that shit. Oh yeah, just real quick. What did you guys think of this first look at the God of War live action? Are you guys talking about the jiggle physics on Rivals? What sort of awesomely slutty shit do they have these ladies in now that I probably should go look up? I don't know. I'm not a big God of War guy, so I don't really care. But I mean, I'll probably check out the show just because I've watched people play the game and it looks cool. But yeah, all right. There's Rando. Don't care. Moving on. Oh, and look, he did another one. Do more with a backdrop of multiversal madness. Wait, what? First of all, do more. Do we know what do more is, guys? You know about do more? Do more in the comics happens when Doom invades and takes over Wakanda to take control of all the vibranium, which he does. Like, he literally goes, presents himself to Bast and is like, you need to let me have all the fucking vibranium because this world is fucked if you don't. And, like, kneels before her, bears his soul to her. She goes into his mind and sees that he's done so much time traveling and that the way things turned out for the best in any branch was any branch in which Doom was in control. So she's like, okay, yeah, you can have the vibranium. And T'Challa wasn't having none of that shit, so he rendered it inert and made Wakanda broke as fuck. And then he ended up being put in charge of the Necropolis, and Shuri was Black Panther. Super quick TLDR and do more. So do more with a backdrop of multiversal madness. That's interesting. He says, surely as 30 other scoopers have shared. I'm going to giggle every time he does that because he's beating the dead horse in the proper manner to where it's still amusing. And you've already figured out the good guys will lose in Doomsday. They have to, because otherwise there'd be no Secret Wars. Just not necessarily and directly to Doom. Really? just not necessarily and directly to Doom. Okay, so that means at least one or two of the teams are going to lose to some of Doom's lackeys. And we've heard about he's going to have his gold mask fucking, what do you call it? Coven. Not the word I wanted. He's going to have his gold mask entourage, his gold mask clique. God of War is going to be a show on Prime. It's going to be on Prime TV. What's up, Kevin? So that's interesting. That means they probably will not all be together at the end. Kind of like they were all kind of separated in various groups at the end of Infinity War. We may as well suck it up and just realize, chat, that these movies are going to play out at least overall very similar to Infinity War and Endgame. Like, that's just kind of the nature of the beast. It's the nature of the beast with comics. It's the nature of the beast with movies. It's just kind of how it goes sometimes. So, as long as they do it dope, I'm not going to care. Like, honestly. I'm not. If they do it well, I will not care at all. If they fuck it up, I probably will come out and start bitching about nostalgia bait, copy pasta bullshit. But if they do it well, I will not. So, that's interesting, though. Just not necessarily directly to Doom. That implies, again, it's going to be kind of Infinity War style. The one group did lose directly to Thanos. Actually, technically, two of them did. But they will be separated. But in this case, one of the hero groups is going to lose to one of the villain groups, but Doom won't necessarily be in the villain group they lose to. That's kind of fun, actually. And you know what group would make sense the most to lose to? The group that doesn't necessarily have Doom in it? Sam's team. Actually, I take that back. The new Avengers would. They have fewer powered people than Sam's team does. Anyway, but yeah. Basically, the characters we don't care about are the ones that are going to get their asses beat by not even Doom, and I'm fine with that. Interesting. While Beast goes properly comic book dark, not Dark Beast, but a beast willing to do dark deeds, his plan isn't enough. Neither is Reed's. After they all fail, a pair of characters learn Doom's true nature, and the confrontation lands them as strangers in a strange land. Really? This is the Latvian flag with Doom symbol on it, by the way, guys. Y'all probably knew that, but I figured I'd just throw it out there. It's there where all the remaining heroes from all the disparate Earths have take on Doom, and he suffers no fools. If you're old, imagine in the 80s learning you'd see a movie where the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Avengers all team up against Doom on his home turf. Motherfuckers, we're going to Latveria. However, there wouldn't be a Secret Wars if the heroes won, so instead it appears it'll lead to everyone living in one world under Doom. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to Latveria. Just don't know which Latveria. Sometimes these Twitter threads give me a headache. Oh, and then he pops up with this one. Kevin Feige going to step down from Marvel Studios eventually? Yes, but not for probably another 10 years after the Mutant Saga, because the mutants are his babies. He's not going anywhere right when he literally will have all the toys all in the same toy box now. Because that's not going to happen until after Secret Wars is done. That's when he's going to have all the toys. All in the same universe. Well, same multiverse. We'll probably still have multiverse. But yeah. He's not going to quit right before he has the opportunity to like turn into a 4-year-old, pick up all bunch of his toys and smash them all together on screen. And he's not going to forego the opportunity to do the mutants his way instead of having to do them the Donners and Bryan Singer's way like he did back in 2000, 2002, and 2000, whatever the fuck movies came out. Anyway. Charles Murphy then forgot to add the war in Latveria all take place simultaneously with the final incursions. So there's going to be a big old battle in Latveria while the universes are rushing at each other to crash into each other and destroy each other. No tension there at all. Ooh, now he's answering questions. Charles, I have a question. Where is Latveria in this universe? 828? Basically, is Doom from 828. The final battle takes place there. Thank you. Info I got says 828. Okay. That's kind of sad. Okay. All right, so that's all Charles Murphy. So evidently the final Latveria battle in Latveria, final battle in Latveria, final in Latveria battle, final Latveria in the battle of Latveria, going to be in the Fantastic Four Latveria. Now, let me in case anyone's having this thought, let me go ahead and put a kibosh on it now. Some of you may be thinking, I guarantee there are people that read that and thought, this means Doom is from that universe, and all this other universe bullshit of him blah 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 is all crap. Not true. First of all, Doom doesn't have to be from the 828 for Latveria to be the place of the final battle on 828. That doesn't have to be the Latveria he's from. By any stretch. Just because he chose a Latveria to be where the final battle takes place, and I'm assuming he chose it, doesn't mean it's the Latveria he is from. It just means that was the best battlefield to hand that he could get to. If rumors are true, the Latveria he's from is destroyed. Ex-Punisher UNC, what's up? Thanks for stopping in. Can't wait for a new MCU X-Men cast announcement. I know, me either. I mean, we know one. Sadie Sink is Jean Grey. But yeah, I cannot wait to hear who the rest of the team is going to be. I'm very, very... Concept art, we saw it. Yes, that was Secret Wars. We are pretty sure that was all for Secret Wars. Now, the version of Battle World we get could be very Latveria-like, but it also looks like it's going to be like Latveria 1602 style. But we'll see. But yeah, so Doom doesn't need to be from 828 for the final battle being in 828 Latveria. One does not necessarily mean the other's true. Because again, there are more than one of those, quite a few of those 30 scoopers have put out there that the reason Doom is busted up and in the suit is because his universe got destroyed and his family did. Like, multiple people have reported that. So if his universe is destroyed, he can't be from 828. But it doesn't mean if he sees what would be home turf, he won't utilize it because he's not stupid. Of course he's going to pick something that is as close to home turf as he can possibly get. Latveria in 828 is probably pretty damn close to the Latveria in the universe he's from. So that's just good strategy. oh, hey, there's some familiar ground. Might not be exactly mine, but it's damn familiar. So yeah, that's just good strategy. And that battle's taking place with simultaneously with the incursion. So you know the easiest time to hop universe is during a fucking incursion. That is the easiest time to hop universes because the barrier is down, baby. Now I don't know what the fuck happened to it. I thought I had a bookmark, but I think it was also Charles somewhere who said, and I don't know how I missed it. Um, Maybe it wasn't Charles, but I thought it was Charles who said that what he read was basically the Hickman run with the MCU storylines woven in. So if it really is based mostly off the Hickman run, then yeah, because that's where I got that info. You can hop universes effortlessly during an incursion because the barrier's down. You just need a ship. Yeah. So that's it from Charles, but my time had a little something something. Y'all remember this one? Remember when they put this picture out and everyone was going fucking ham? They're like, oh, look, this means X-Men. This means this. This means this. There's some shit here. This means this. Well, she said, I can now reveal that the photo they shared is the set where they shot a scene with Doom and his family in a lab during an experiment that kills them and damages his body. Okay. Well, that actually kind of changes what I just said. He could be from 828. Because if it's not him, if it's not a universe destruction thing, and it's just a lab experiment thing, of course, why would a genius like Doom allow his family to be in a lab where he's experimenting? That kind of makes no sense. That really doesn't make any sense. I don't know if I want to believe this. That makes no sense at all. Super genius Doom. Under no circumstances would allow his family in a lab during an experiment. I don't know about this one, chat. I was just like, ooh, lab explosion, but I didn't think about it until now I just read it, and I'm like, you know what? That makes no goddamn sense at all. Does that make any sense? Do you think a fucking super genius like Victor Von Doom would allow his loved ones anywhere near a lab that he's experimenting in? I'm no super genius, but I can sure as shit tell you that my loved ones would not be in a lab where I'm experimenting on shit. They would, in fact, be as far away as I could get them, and still, no. And I'm not a super genius. I'm not like one of the 3 smartest people in the entire goddamn Marvel universe. And even I know that would be stupid. That's just dumb. I kind of want to call bullshit on that one. I was just reading this leak. Okay, so I have here, chat, an alleged full plot description. Now, this comes from Reddit. I just skimmed through it. Some of it does not make any sense at all. Yeah, fuck it. I don't care about that leak. Although some of it does match up. I don't know. You guys want to? You guys want to go over it? Because there's nothing left. I got nothing left other than this alleged plot leak, which I'm pretty sure came from the Reddits. Or we can just have a shorter Saturday night stream. We can all go do stuff. Oh, you guys want to go over it or not? I'm leaving it up to you. An alleged full plot leak. There's a couple fucked up things in there that I doubt. Let's see if it's been 5 minutes. Yeah. All right. We'll go over it. You guys tell me if you believe this shit or not. Rolled 3. God fucking shit. All right. Now remember some of what Charles said. What we just went over. Here we go, chat. This is allegedly the full plot description of Avengers Doomsday. And here we fucking go. Oh, yeah, good idea. Yummy. See, I don't know if I set a limit on all. You might literally have just gambled all. Yeah. All right, guys. We're going to go over this, and then we'll talk about how much of it we believe, how much of it we don't believe. And then we'll be getting the fuck out of here. Because this is literally it. This is it. This is all I have. All right. Avengers Doomsday opens in New York City on Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's Earth. He's fighting Deadpool and Wolverine, who were sent there with a planet-killing bomb built by Beast to destroy Tobey's world in order to save their own universe from an incursion. Sound familiar? Tobey battles huge Jackman Wolverine, who manages to plant the device. Wolverine stays behind when it detonates, and both he and Tobey's Spider-Man both he and Tobey's Spider-Man, there we go. This is annoying. Along with everyone on that Earth, are killed. Deadpool escapes and returns to his own Earth, which we see in the distance. Charles Xavier watches the destroyed world below with sadness, but they had no choice. We then cut to Tony's funeral. Uh-oh. Steve speaks with some of the heroes, including Ant-Man, before returning the stones. He goes back in time and chooses to stay with Peggy. They have a son, Jim. One day, Loki visits them. This is before the Loki Season 2 finale. He tells Steve about the TVA and warns him that they will soon prune his timeline because Steve was never meant to live there or have a son. Loki offers them a way out. He can take them to a universe where they don't exist and can live in peace. The Fantastic Four's universe. Before leaving, Loki gives Steve a special card to contact him. Okay, so not a TemPad, but this is all sounding almost exactly what Murphy shared, doesn't it? Which means one of two things. Either this shit is pretty real, or someone slipped Murphy this fucking thing here. Although some shit he talks about is not in here. Steve and his family lived there for 10 years. So James is going to be like 10 years old. Okay. We then see Dr. Doom visiting Sue and Franklin. They clearly know each other. That would be... Evidently, they're going to be playing directly off that post-credit in Fantastic Four. Clearly known. Doom says he has come to speak with Reed. He warns him about the incursions and reveals their universe is next. He proposes a plan, but they must travel with him to Earth 616. Doom also asks Reed whether it's possible someone from another universe is living in theirs. They scan the planet and discover an anomaly. Steve and his family. They confront Steve, who recognizes them after living there for a decade. They explain the incursions and ask him to come to 616 to help convince the Avengers to trust Doom's plan. They travel there, and Steve successfully persuades the heroes to listen. This shit's all pretty much lining up so far. Next, they visit the X-Men's universe, but the X-Men are hostile. They've survived multiple incursions and trust no one. And we've heard this from this shit we've heard before, not from Charles, but we've heard this before. They assume the MCU heroes and the Fantastic Four have come to destroy them and attack. Reed and Doom explained their solution to build massive cannons on each Earth that will permanently separate the universes and stop the incursions. Wait, what? Cannons? Fucking cannons? I don't know about that one. This is the first thing. Well, I will say this though, Chad. This is the first thing I've read that's got me like. That's gotten me anything other than damn. This sounds fucking real based on everything else we've heard. Like fucking cannons. That seems lame as shit. Of course. To be fair, when I first heard about like Superman being fixed by like the sun through a magnifying glass, essentially, I was like, that's lame as shit. And then I saw it in the movie, and it wasn't anywhere. It was nowhere near as lame as I thought it was going to be. Still a little lame, though, in my opinion. But it wasn't as lame as I thought it was going to be. So, but still, cannons. They will split into teams, and each one will go to another Earth to place a cannon there. Meanwhile, Steve tells Thor he met a Loki who is still alive. When the fuck did they... Oh, yeah, 616. Thor asks Steve to take him to him. Using Loki's card, they locate the TVA, but when they arrive, everyone is dead and Loki has had his heart ripped out. What the fuck? Let me read that again. Meanwhile, Steve tells Thor he met a Loki who is still alive. Thor asks Steve to take him to him. Using Loki's card, they locate the TVA, but when they arrive, everyone is dead and Loki has had his heart ripped out. Okay, see, now we're to a part where I'm not sure that this is real because, I mean, the MCU's done a little, somewhat dark shit, but that's crazy. I don't know if they've ever been that graphic. Everyone is dead and Loki has had his heart ripped out. God damn. Well, if they are still planning on doing a Thor Loki reunion, Loki's going to have to somehow be brought back in Secret Wars because holy shit. Okay, so now we're up to two things that I have doubts about. Fucking cannons and Loki having his heart ripped out and lying there with a big ass hole in his chest. They realize Doom is responsible. I wonder how they do that. Steve goes back to confront Doom, who reveals his true plan to allow the incursions to happen so he can rebuild the multiverse in his own image and resurrect his dead family. He takes Steve to his castle in Latveria on his Earth. Now wait, who's the pronoun referring to? Steve or Doom? Excuse me. Oh, I'm guessing Doom based on the next sentence. There, Steve meets Doom's followers, masked witches. Now it says on his Earth, which implies that he is not from 828. At least to me. That implies he is not from 828. There, Steve meets Doom's followers, masked witches. One of them impersonates Peggy to manipulate him. Ooh. Doom reveals that Steve's presence in their universe is what triggered their incursion because he didn't belong there. Oh, wait, no. Now he's saying that Doom does come from that 828. Okay. Steve's presence in their universe caused incursion because he doesn't belong there. Okay, so this is making it seem like Doom actually is from 828. Alrighty then. It also led to the death of Doom's family. Doom became... Whoops. God damn it. Sorry, chat. Hold on. Okay. Reality presence what triggered their yada yada yada. It also led to the death of Doom's family. Doom became obsessed with stopping the incursion, conducting dangerous experiments, one of which failed, killing his family and leaving him disfigured, forced to wear the armor and mask. As revenge, Doom kills Steve's son in front of him. What? As revenge, Doom kills Steve's son in front of him. Okay. Cannons. Loki with his heart ripped out. Doom killing his 10-year-old son in front of Steve. Doom killing Steve's 10-year-old son in front of him. Wow. Okay, so that one I'm kind of doubting too, because again, that's a little far, I think, for the MCU. But on the other hand, 99% of what we're reading is lining up, chat. So, goddamn. I mean, that's all I got. Doom announces that the Avengers are coming and Latveria prepares for war. The Fantastic Four, the Avengers, and the X-Men unite and march on Latveria. Thor prays to Odin, who sends an army from Valhalla to join the battle. Shine did just reveal that the other day, too. A massive war erupts as the Earths begin to collide. Eventually, the universes crash into each other and are destroyed, killing everyone. Everyone except Doom. It's revealed that he stole Loki's powers. Using them, he creates Battleworld, resurrects everyone, and erases their memories, so everyone will come back. They believe Battleworld is all that has ever existed. We see them living new lives in this reality. Doom sits on his throne as the Emperor of Battleworld. The end. Now that is very Hickman. So, chat. Damn, I forgot to put that back up on the screen. Peggy can manipulate anyone. That's her superpower. I don't know. I'd say she's got two superpowers. Well, chat, there it is. What do you think? I gotta say, except for those three things, literally that lines up with literally everything we've heard, pretty much. But cannons, I don't know about that. Fucking finding Loki with his heart ripped out, and Doom killing Steve's 10-year-old in front of him. Those are the only problems I have with that leak. I don't know. I just don't see Marvel going. I mean, maybe the Loki thing, but the killing Steve's kid in front of him thing, yeah, I have trouble envisioning Marvel going that far. Like, I have trouble envisioning that, but like I said, 98% of that motherfucking shit lines up. And that's crazy. Fucking killing his Doom killing Steve's 10-year-old right in front of Steve. Got at least 2 superpowers, maybe 4. What do you guys think of that? Replayers, comments. Leave comments. You gotta have thoughts about that shit. Like, you gotta. That's nuts, though. So much lines up. You don't see Marvel killing kids? At least not directly. Like, they will never show it. You know, I'm sure there's probably been kids in any number of the buildings that have gotten blown up over the years. Like, if we're being honest with ourselves. But yeah, like directly showing it one-on-one that intimately. Yeah, I have my doubts about that as well. What up, Icarus? Oh yeah, yeah. I have massive issues with thinking Marvel would actually show that shit. But on the other hand, so much of that shit lines up, bro. So much of it lines up. But again, it doesn't necessarily have to be 100% accurate. That could be very well be inaccurate. While it could, like, the things that we have a problem with could be the only inaccuracies in that thing. But Jesus Christ, so much of that lines up with not just what we went over in Charles's thread. What up, Icarus? But what Shine has said, what RPK has said, even a little bit of what Alex has said, even though he's been a contrarian bitch lately. Hi, big boy. What's up? You haven't been causing a ruckus, have you? You should go back and lay down. Put your butt down. Thank you. Hulk has probably killed a dozen kids at least. Oh, I'm sure. I mean, how many kids died in Sokovia? How many kids died in that blast at the beginning of Civil War that got the Sokovia Accords to, to be brought into existence? How many kids died in the Battle of New York? Now, there was stuff in there that wasn't mentioned, at least specifically, like that thing Charles was talking about Sentry. Got no hint of that anywhere in there. I mean, we can guess it might happen in that final battle in Latveria. Nothing in that plot leak mentioned who's going to lose to, not necessarily directly to Doom, although, again, a lot of the shit that wasn't specifically mentioned that Charles did mention, a fair chunk of that, I think, could be attributed to shit that will happen inside that final battle in Latveria and the final incursion. You know what I mean? Like, just because that shit that Charles mentioned wasn't mentioned in that leak doesn't mean that that leak's inaccurate. he could have gotten more specific. Charles could have gotten even more specific. That's just mostly an overview. Let's not forget that. That's not a play-by-play per se. That plot leak is just, these are the major beats. Like, there's still plenty of fine details, and some of that is what Charles revealed with the Sentry thing and stuff like that. But yeah, what he was talking about with shit rhyming and stuff like that, that was all in there. There's a lot of rhyming with Infinity War in that motherfucker. That's for sure. So yeah, the cannons and the Loki with the big ass hole in his chest where his heart should be, and then Doom killing a 10-year-old in front of the 10-year-old's dad. That shit's crazy. And the cannons thing's just weird, but those other two are fucking nuts, dude. If Doom just takes the life out of the kids to make them stronger, wouldn't be it? Oh, yeah, like a life force sucking kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you talk about killing a kid in front of his parent. I wasn't thinking anything quite that tame. I was thinking, like something like that. Making his head pop like it's the boys. I don't know. My brain went like super evil. But you're right. It could be like he just drains him to a husk there on the spot or whatever. Drains him pale. Did you miss the Sadie Sink talk? Yes. That's what the replay's for, my guy. You can give me some watch hours on that side. What's up? Oh, the chin scratches. Oh, yes, the chin scratches. My goodness. Oh, the cheeks. Oh, the cheeks. Oh, the cheeks. But yeah, outside of those 3 items, that shit lines up with everything else we've been hearing from, like Charles said, 30 other scoopers. Have I seen the God of War set photos? Yeah. I don't know. Did I unbookmark it? I need my mouse, bro. Let's see if I unbookmarked it. Probably did. I tend to unbookmark shit when I'm done with it, so I don't destroy it. Oh, no. Here it is. You mean this? I'll tell you what. In my personal little internet bubble, people are not impressed. I was going to go nuts if Doom takes his kid. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the online reaction I'm seeing, people are less than impressed with this shit. What do you guys think? God of War fans? How do you feel about this shit? And this image comes direct from Prime Video. You can see right here. I'm not sure if you about the God of War show. Yeah. I've never played the game, so I won't. So if I watch it, I won't know if they fuck it up. You know what I'm saying? I won't know if they fucked it up. What? Oh, I stopped pitting you. Holy shit. Should have done more curls in them arms. They should make a show based on the Greek era God of War games. You've also seen some people complain about the costumes. Yeah, people are not impressed with that early footage. Kind of like Prime is having the James Gunn moment with Superman. The first image he released of Superman was also not impressive. You don't want to start off with people going, yeah. Having the first impression of your stuff be, yeah, is never a good thing. Settle down. Like, I have no skin in that game. If the show's cool, I'll be like, cool, I had fun with it. If it sucks, I'll be like, damn, that's a bummer. But, like, if they fuck up the lore, I'll have no idea. I don't know the games like that. So, what do you guys think? It's your time now. I'm, like, done. I'm out of topics. I'm out of bloviating. I'll just repeat myself and annoy y'all. What do y'all got? If anything, because if not, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. Oop. Music would be. So you can enjoy the story with the show if it's somewhat good. Yeah, that's the hope. Oh, you haven't played either game? Yeah, right. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I haven't played the game. I have no idea what the lore of the games is like. So they can fuck up the lore all they want, and as long as the show's good, I won't care. Kid looks very young. That is true. He does look pretty young. Hope they don't mess it up for the fans. Oh, I agree. I like I said, whether I know the lore or not, and whether I will know or not, if they fuck up the lore matters not. Like, I want the people that like know the games and love the games to like be able to enjoy the show because the show was actually true to the lore and didn't fuck it up. Yes, I 100% agree with that shit. 100% agree with that shit. Yeah, it's gonna be March on Monday, or no? It's gonna be. It is March. Where I live, it's been March for 38 minutes. Some of our shows are about to start, chat. So, come Wednesday, I will have a watch party schedule figured out. Probably, hopefully, a little bit. March kind of snuck up on me. I'll be honest. March snuck up on me a bit. God of War fans love that game. That is true. That game has a very devoted following. I know that to be true. For sure. Did I watch? Yes, I did watch Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I enjoyed it. Thought it was a pretty cool show. Thought it was a pretty cool show. Matter of fact, it's got me on a rewatch of Game of Thrones. Actually, I can only call it a rewatch up to a certain point because I never actually did completely finish Game of Thrones, like at all. Like, I still have to watch. I think I don't even remember how far I got when it was first out, but I stopped watching it probably season 4 or 5. So I'm only on season 2 right now, so I'm still in the rewatch phase. But eventually, I'm just going to be like, okay, now I'm finally finishing this shit. Yeah, watching that got me back on watching the original Game of Thrones, which will probably end up getting put on pause when Hot D comes out later this year. But yeah, yeah, I'm balls deep in the Game of Thrones universe again. It's like, even as old as that show is, even today, I would totally be all about being balls deep in Amelia Clark. Casey. Make her call me Cal. And Lena Headey. That's right. I'd still shatter Cersei Lannister's hips. Make her call me Ned. All right, y'all. I'm going to get on out of here. Oh, I work in a call center. I don't get to listen to anything at work except patients. I work at a clinic call center. Fortunately. I prefer to I don't know, I prefer to read my books. I'm a boomer that way. Holy shit, you're back. Almost literally. Okay, guys. I love you. Hope you enjoyed hanging out tonight, because I definitely did. I know, like audiobooks are like much more popular than paper books now, but I love my paper books. I am very much like I have no problems with technology and the advancement of technology and shit. But, some things I get super old school about. Books is one. I prefer to have it in my hand and flip the pages. So, anyway, that's a little bit of one of the few areas I'm fully boomer about, is I like to actually read books instead of listen to them. No, I'll read an ebook. I mean, like I prefer ultimately I prefer real books. I'll read an ebook because I would still actually get to read it with my eyeballs. But yeah, by preference, give me something paper. Could finish the books in 3 hours, bro. I can finish a book in 3 hours anyway. That's the thing. Uninterrupted. Most books I can go cover to cover in 3 hours. Like, there's no time advantage for me for listening. Any book? Most books. Three to four. Like most of the books I own, I can read in between 3 to 4 hours. Yeah, I read fucking fast. Yeah, I read insanely fast. 150 pages a season. I don't know. I'm going to stay stubborn and get off my lawn about it. I like reading books. I listen to streamers. I read books. listen to YouTube videos. I listen to streamers. I listen to lore. I listen to pitch meetings. You don't really need to see the pitch meetings for the most part, so, you know. But yeah, I just prefer to read a book. Preferably paper, but I'll read an ebook. But I just like to do it with my eyes. That's all. Anyway, thank y'all for hanging out. Again, it's a Saturday night. So much other shit you could be doing, but you're here, and I'm grateful. I'd be even more grateful if everyone that watched this live or on the replay hit all the buttons that apply to you. Like, everyone. If you're new, subscribe, bell, join the Discord. Someone dropped the link in the chat not too long ago. I can probably talk someone into doing it one more time. Notifications are better for Discord, so do that too. And have a good rest of your weekend and a good rest of your week. We'll be back Wednesday night at 9, motherfuckers. So, much love, and we'll see you Wednesday. Bye. Yeah, we're going with the shorter outro tonight, chat, because, frankly, I got to fucking pee. So, but seriously, I mean, I do have to pee, but even more seriously, you guys choose to be here, and that's fucking amazing, because I'm just a middle-aged nerd yapping about stuff. So, and you guys choose to listen to me and hang out for, 2.5 or more hours on average. So thank you for being cool. Thank you for thinking I'm cool-ish. I appreciate it a lot. And I hope you appreciate what I do as well. I mean, I'm sure you do at least a little, or you wouldn't be here, right? That's just logic. So, anyway, thank you all for being awesome. Thank you for being a dope-ass community and just fucking cool motherfuckers. Enjoy your Sunday. Hope you have a good beginning to your work week. And we will see you right back here Wednesday night at 9 Eastern Standard Time. Aye, aye. Aye, aye. Thank y'all. Much love. Peace.